Hello, statistics students. This is Mr. Gazzato, and I wanted to do a review of Unit 6. So earlier in the unit, we talked about the response variable measures the outcome, and the explanatory variable attempts to explain the response variable. And these four questions that I'm going to put the little bullet next to are four problems that we did during the class, so you could read that. The first learning target is related to question number 1. So Mrs. Gazzato needs a stand mixer for her kitchen with the upcoming holidays to make mashed potatoes. I did some research using Consumer Reports and found the price in dollars and the weight in the pound of a variety of mixers. So the question of interest is, what's the explanatory variable and what is the response variable? So in this particular problem, the explanatory variable is the weight in pounds, and the response variable is the price in dollars. The next question is, would you expect a positive, negative, or no association? If we do a quick sketch, remember the weight is the explanatory, so that's going to go on the horizontal, and the cost would go on the vertical. If a mixer weighed, say, 10 pounds, I'd expect the cost to be low, versus if a mixer weighed 30 pounds, I would expect the cost to be higher. Therefore, I would think that there would be a positive association between the weight and the cost. The next learning target was to use the data and enter the data in your calculator. So I wanted you to be able to create a scatter plot using your calculator. So I'm going to review those calculator commands. So with the calculator, we pressed Stat, Edit, number 1, and we typed the data into List 1 and List 2. After that, we pressed second Y equal. We pressed number 1 or Enter. We put the scatter plot on. We highlighted the type scatter plot, and we have the data in L1 and L2. So that's how we created a scatter plot. After we had the scatter plot set up, we like to press Zoom and Stat, number 9. So Zoom, Stat. And you should see a scatter plot similar to this. This confirms the positive association in the previous question. Then we wanted to get the least squares regression line and the correlation coefficient. So we pressed Stat. We moved over to Calculate. We use number 8. We press number 8. We have L1 and L2. We went down to Store Regression, and we wanted to store the regression into Y1. So we pressed Bars. We moved over to Y bars. We pressed Function, number 1, and then we pressed Y1. And this will store the equation into the calculator. You move down to Calculate, and you could hit Enter. So we can see the regression line, y equal a plus bx. The value of a is 21.9125. The value of b, 10.0817. And the correlation coefficient, 0.6269. Now when you hit Graph, the regression line will be in the graph. So your scatter plot looks like that, and when you ran the regression, your computer output looked like my screen on the right. So then the equation is y hat equals, and we've been using 4 decimal places, and we'll talk more about the y hat in the next unit, but the y hat means the predicted y value. The correlation coefficient was 0.6268, and these are our class notes on interpreting the correlation coefficient. So in class, the other learning target we wanted to accomplish is writing a sentence for the correlation coefficient. So that correlation coefficient was 0.6269, and the way we interpret it using the 4 criteria, there is a moderate, positive linear relationship between the weight of a mixer and the price. So the four components are strength in yellow, direction, meaning positive or negative. You always say linear relationship, and the fourth component is to put it in context. Okay. The last problem that we did in this unit was predict the weight of a mixer that weighs 27 pounds. So we used our calculator to do this. So when we have the graph up, we press trace. Right now, it is flashing on the scatter plot. If you press the right arrow key or the left arrow key, it moves from point to point. In order to move to the curve, you must press the up arrow key. Once you press the up arrow key, we wanted to know 27 pounds price, so we can type 27. That should appear at the bottom of the screen. And then you can press enter, and it'll tell you the price, $294.12. So what is the price of the mixer when it is 27 pounds? I put some screenshots there. So if a mixer weighs 27 pounds, I would expect the cost to be $294.12. There is another way you can get that answer by plugging 27 into your equation, but because there are so many decimals in this equation that I just highlighted in yellow, I like to use the graphing calculator. So I hope you found this useful to review Unit 6.